Hey, Lou Mosca, Chief Operating Officer of American Management Services here in beautiful, sunny, rainy, wet Orlando, Florida. And today what I want to talk to you about is it's not the economy, stupid, it is you. So in today's day and age when so much is up in turmoil and so many people are worried about what's going on, let's think about it. Last couple of days, stock market's come down, then it went up a little bit, then it went down some more. It's just been horrible, right? And I've been preaching to people for a long time, don't trust the stock market unless you're young like my son Jacob, you know, where you can put money aside and not worry about it for 20, 30 years. If you're like me and you're 50, 60, 65 years old, don't be gambling on the stock market, right? Down 600, 700 one day, up 200, down 300 or 400. You know what always cracks me up? If it goes down 700 and the stock you own goes down $3, the next day if it goes up 350, you don't get back half. It never seems to come back half. So, you know, the stock market's crazy. Car dealers are not taking cars onto their lots anymore. They're just slowing down GM and Chrysler and Ford from shipping them more units. Federal Reserve lowered interest rates last week, first time in 10 years, as a penicillin to help offset anything that's crazy and coming in the stock market. Manufacturing index is actually, quote unquote, in a manufacturing recession. And the definition of a manufacturing recession is 2 consecutive quarters of below specific target growth in manufacturing. They hit that. And there's just a lot of things that are going crazy in this world out there today, folks, which can give you pause, give you angst. So what I'm going to tell you is it's not the economy, stupid, it's you. I don't care if the economy is skyrocketing or going down the crapper. It's how you manage your business that will determine how well you do. So what I'd like to do today, I'd like to take you through 2 or 3 of our profit rules. And these profit rules are designed to make sure that you don't make excuses, that you control what goes on in your 4 walls, in your world, in your ownership economy with your employees, your customers, and your vendors, because you have the right to control that. So stop blaming Mexico, don't blame tariffs, don't blame the competition, don't blame China. Anything that goes wrong in your world, blame yourself. But I'm going to show you how to make sure nothing goes wrong in your world, right? So the first profit rule we're going to talk about is profit rule number 2, and we call that end denial. What we mean by end denial is that denial is not a river in Egypt, okay? It's not a river in Egypt. Denial means you are responsible for everything that goes on in your world. So how do we end denial? Number 1, we manage by the numbers. Numbers don't lie, folks. People do. Numbers don't lie. People do. Manage by the numbers. Your sales where they belong, are your units out the door where they belong, your people productivity where they belong, are your margins where they belong, are you controlling your SG&A, and is your profit where it belongs? And the way to do this is make profit your first line item of expense. Everybody considers profit to be a residual. You're not going to do that anymore. So if you do $3 million a year and you want your profit to be 12% or 360 grand, you want to run your business on whatever that difference is, 2.640 million. That's what you want to do. You want to assure yourself that you're getting your 12% return as an owner. End denial, managed by the numbers. No way around it. You manage by the numbers, stuff will not go wrong. Next profit rule we want to talk to you about is forget sweat equity. Had an owner today tell us that he was mad at everybody because he had to cut his own pay. Owners equal pay. Don't work for free. Do not work for free. He was mad at himself because on 80 million bucks, he's not making money. And what he wanted is he wanted the bank to lend him more, lend him more, lend him more. And we listened to a bank call today and it was beyond terrible, just beyond terrible. But you're the owner, you're at risk. If you cut your pay to 0 or you work for nothing, then your employees are going to see that you're willing to work for nothing. Why in God's name would you ever do that? Forget sweat equity, pay yourself what you're worth. And if you don't have the money to pay yourself, it's because you didn't manage by the numbers. You want to manage by the numbers, right? And included in those numbers is your return, your comp for being a functional owner. No sweat equity, forget that. Next profit rule. Live or die by a real plan. What do we mean by live or die by a real plan? So every owner we meet says they have a plan. Here's what we want you to have. We want you to have a real plan, not just the plan, okay? So number one, you want it written. Number two, you want it to include operations, organization, sales, and finance. Do you have the resources, the manpower, the people, the liquidity, the equipment, the strategy, the market to execute on a plan that everyone in your organization is aware of? So I would suggest you take your top 1, 2, 3, 4 people and you do a whole bunch of brainstorming to come up with a plan. Folks, I want to do 47 million next year. That's not a plan, that's a conversation. I know what I want, it's in my head. No, it's not, those are cobwebs, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to document your plan. I want it to be written. I want it to be transparent. I want everyone in your organization to know what it is, because everyone needs to be held to a timeline to execute the written plan. Everybody. And if they don't know it and it's not transparent, guess what's going to happen? Nothing. You're not going to make it. And I want to bring you back to my favorite topic in the world. It's not the economy, stupid, it's you. So in 08, 9, and 10, when the world fell apart and nobody was making money and it was all trauma du jour and the bank screwed people on mortgages and the Fed had to bail people out and the car manufacturers were in trouble, you didn't cause that. You might have got sucked into it, but you didn't cause it. And the way you got sucked into it is by not managing by the numbers and not being in control of what goes on in your world. So I want you to manage by the numbers financially. Do you have too much risk or debt? I told a group last week, did a presentation in Chicago last week. I told the group last week, if you don't know if you have too much debt, you have too much debt. If you don't know if you have enough liquidity, you don't have enough liquidity. And I'm going to tell you the way to make sure your house is always in order is to pay down your debt, pay down your debt, pay down your debt, and build up your liquidity, your liquidity, your liquidity. Because those are the only two things that are going to get you through any downturn. So it's not the economy, stupid, it's you. The world will go up, the world will go down. When you're at a high point, there's only one place it can go. And if you think differently, you're kidding yourself. That's down. When you're down, there's usually this trough before it starts to turn again. And the guys that will take advantage of an upswing are guys with the strongest balance sheet. So it's not the economy, stupid. It's not Vietnam. It's not China. It's not Mexico. It's not the competition. It's not tariffs. It's not 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. It's not the Congress. It's not the State House. It is you. How you determine, how you manage your business will determine your success in the good times and the bad times, because it doesn't matter what the economy is like. If you're managing by the numbers, treat profit as your first line item of expense. Forget sweat equity because you're entitled to be paid all the time. Have a real plan that everyone in your organization is being held accountable to, starting with you. And you really don't, you want to take ownership for everything that goes on in your world, it doesn't matter what the economy does, you'll be a champion. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about and you want to talk about it further, give me a shout, 800-743-0410. Look forward to working with you. You know things are going to go up and down. You know things are going to get a little topsy-turvy, a little bit more than they are. Why shouldn't you come out on top and be the king? Have a great day. End denial. Forget sweat equity. Live and die by a real plan. And it's not the economy. It is you if it goes wrong. Have a great day. Hey, you're there right now. Hit subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications. Have a good one.